So that's the Afro Bedouin community. So fuck you. You know, I mean, that's why. And this happened literally last week. And I saw it on the news, and it kind of shocked me. And I said, these people in our homeland, they're animals. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna show you. Arab press. Is it? That's Palestinian. I mean, I saw it the other day. I think it was on Al Jazeera, and it shocked me, man. I mean, this is incredible, you know. Yeah, this is one of them journalists. All right, one of them Ishmaelites. He might be Bedouin, I don't know. All right, they in Israel they had their flag march or whatever, and they went past, and a mob of them attacked him. One press guy. This is sickening, man. Look, I mean, look at this, man. I mean, you know, and you're kind of, as a normal person, you're kind of shocked. And you know, like, our people that are lost, they don't know who they are or whatever, or some people that know who they are. I mean, look at this. They saw one of these Arab press officers, this guy, and they all attacked him. Crazy, man. See, look, and they were doing this. And they were doing this outside Al-Aqsa Mosque. And that leads us to the next video that we're going to go into, because you know, like we've seen the Afro Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. There's some that live not too far from this place, Al-Aqsa Mosque. But look what they were doing, man. Crazy, man.
This year, I think there's a direct intention to set fire. So I think Ben Gvir and the rest of the right-wing extremist ministers, what they're doing right now is to try to do as much as they can, by any means, to stop the hostage deal and to stop the ceasefire promoted by Biden and others.
Going around with guns. They're psychopaths, man. And they were saying death to Arabs and all this kind of stuff. death to Arabs. You know? I mean, but look at this violence, man. I mean, all of them just for this one guy. I mean, that's what I wanted to show you. That's how crazy they are, man. They're completely out of their minds, man. You know? See? No word of a lie. There was about 30 of them all around this guy, beating the crap out of him. You know? Now, why is that happening? Why is that happening? And you'll see that, and you'll say, "Oh no, that's terrible, this, that, and the other." But I just showed you what our people are going through in that land, you know, and by these Palestinians whether they're Bedouin or whatever, who are being oppressed by these Caucasians. You know? So the Lord is balancing it out. Okay, you Arabs can look down on my people, but I've got the worst of Esau to punish you, man. And they are completely out of their mind, man. You know? They beat the crap out of this guy, man. You know? And they're lunatics. Basically. You know? They are what the Bible says. They are the synagogue of Satan, man. Okay? Now that march was last week. Alright? And they went to outside Al-Aqsa Mosque saying death to Arabs and stuff like that. Okay? And that's why we ain't gonna get no peace in that land, man. Let's get a scripture on that. It says Jerusalem. Alright? Shall be a burdensome stone. Alright? That's what the Bible says. Okay? And that's the reason why. If you look at, I mean, why would you? All right, let's just say, you know, they've been brainwashed, or their leadership think that they're the actual people, right? Why would you even want to go there, man? Why would you want to stay there where you have to go through checkpoints and this, that, and the other? But you have to understand that the checkpoints are for the Arabs, the Ishmaelites. It's not for them. You know? It's not for them. So they can go anywhere they want. Alright? But when it comes to those Ishmaelites, they have to go through checkpoints. A half an hour journey could take 2 hours. Because the Israeli guard might not allow you to go through that checkpoint. He'll say, no, sorry. He doesn't even have to give you a reason. And even if you're an Arab woman who's like, 45, 50, they'll humiliate them. They'll grab an Arab woman that is in her 50s or 60s, put her in a headlock, laugh at her, beat her, call her a whore. It's crazy, man. Okay? This is Zechariah 12:3. And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. So, for all people, man. Alright? So right now you have them Israelis. They've got hostages taken. No one knows where they are. And most of those hostages are probably dead, man. They've killed them hostages by blasting the Gaza Strip into rubble. A lot of the hostages that they've found and that have been dead, of course, they've been killed by the airstrikes. These people are so psychopathic. They don't even care about their own hostages. All right, all that burden themselves with it shall be cut into pieces. Isn't that what's happening? All right. Though all the people in the earth be gathered together against it, and that's what's going to happen in this Third World War, man. All right. This Third World War is going to be in that place. That's going to be the center of it. Now, let's look at the history of the African quarter. All right. The Arabs and those Israelis can call it Little Harlem and this place and that place and so forth. But let's get some history on that. Okay. And this woman does an excellent job. All right. This channel is called Freedom is Mine Official. And let me say this, man. Everything that this woman does is called Freedom is Mine Official. Most of the videos that she does about these different groups around the world, black people in India, black people in the black minority in Argentina, the black minority in the Philippines, a lot of them are Israelites, man. So her channel is a blessing.
Exactly.
Let's see.
African diaspora in Palestine. Hey guys, thank you for joining me once again for another look at Afro-descendant communities around the world. This time with we're talking about the African diaspora in Palestine. Given recent events in Palestine, it seems like a timely moment to shine a light on the Afro Palestinian community, their remarkable history, and the ways in which they have been affected by Israeli occupation in Palestine.
Although the Afro-Palestinian community is largely concentrated in Jerusalem, there are also Afro-descendant communities in Gaza and the West Bank town of Jericho. The biggest Afro-Palestinian population can be found in an enclave in Old Jerusalem, often referred to as the African Quarter or Little Harlem.
Estimates put the current Afro-Palestinian community
or a derogatory term they use is a slave. You know, in Arabic, slave. Oh, that's a slave street or something like that. You know, and then some people say, oh no, it's not meant to be derogatory or whatever. You know, this is rubbish. This is all rubbish. It's mainly derogatory. Anything the Arab man talks about, the way the Arab man talks about us is always going to be in a derogatory manner.
At between 350 and 450 people, distributed across roughly 50 different families. They mainly reside in two neighborhoods, Ribat al-Mansouri and Ribat al-Busari.
One of these compounds leads onto the Al-Aqsa Mosque, considered the third holiest site in Islam.
This mosque was recently the focal point of clashes between local Palestinian residents and Israeli forces.
Tensions flared up again in early May 2021 when Israeli security forces besieged the Al-Aqsa Mosque during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan.
When it comes to the origins of the Afro-Palestinian community, there have been several distinct influxes of African migration to Palestine over the years.
From at least the 12th century onwards, if not earlier, African Muslims made regular pilgrimages to the Middle East.
Yep.
Many African Muslims who participated in the Hajj, the annual pilgrimage to Mecca, would visit the Al-Aqsa Mosque on their return journey.
Over the years, some African pilgrims settled permanently in Palestine, marrying local Palestinian women and having interracial Afro-Arab families.
A number of Africans came to Palestine during the time of the Ottoman Empire, when they were assigned to guard the Haram al-Sharif, or Temple Mount as it is also known. As previously mentioned, the two modern-day enclaves that are home to the Afro-Palestinian community in Jerusalem are called Ribat al-Mansouri and Ribat al-Busari.
Although they used to serve as hostels for Muslim pilgrims, from 1916 to 1918, during the Arab revolt of World War I, Ottoman forces converted these compounds into two prisons.
These prisons were known as the Blood Prison and the Hanging Prison, where they detained and executed perceived dissidents. Towards the end of World War I, the British General Edmund Allenby led a military campaign against Ottoman forces. As such, the British hired conscripted labourers from Nigeria, Sudan, Senegal and Chad to build railroads and lay pipes in Jerusalem as part of the British Engineering Corps. During the British Mandate in Palestine, particularly in the 1930s, the number of Africans migrating to Jerusalem grew steadily.
The most recent major influx of African migrants to Palestine occurred following World War II.
The State of Israel was established in 1948. Many African Muslims who made their pilgrimage to Palestine around that time were forced to settle permanently as borders were closed. Some Africans even joined the Arab Liberation Army and fought on the side of the Palestinians. One of the best-known Afro-Palestinians in history is Ali Jidda, a former Palestinian resistance fighter of Chadian descent. Ali Jidda is best known for his involvement with the organization the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. In response to the Israeli occupation of Jerusalem, in 1968 he planted 4 hand grenades on Strauss Street in Jerusalem, which injured 9 Israelis. Ali Jidda was sentenced to 25 years in prison, but was released in 1985 after serving 17 years.
Following his release, Jidda worked as a journalist before offering tours of the Old City in Jerusalem, teaching people about life in the area under Israeli occupation. Today, he lives in Beit Hanina in East Jerusalem and has 2 sons. Another well-known Afro-Palestinian resistance fighter is Fatima Benawi. Born to a Nigerian father and a Palestinian mother, Fatima became the first female Palestinian to be arrested on terrorism charges.
In 1967, she made a failed attempt to bomb an Israeli cinema in Jerusalem and was sentenced to 30 years in prison, of which she served 10. Upon her
returned in 1993 to...
Yep. All right, so you got a bit of history there. And that woman is an Israelite woman, man. All right, she was the first one to be, when them gutter rats took over the land, she was the first woman to be put into prison. And Yasser Arafat negotiated for her release after 13 years. I think she got about 30 something years. And then Yasser Arafat, in a deal, you know, like how Hamas are trying to do a deal with Israel right now and say, listen, you know, we'll give you your hostages back if you give the Palestinian because you have to understand, the state of Israel have got loads of Palestinians in prisons. And believe me, the prisons there are not nice, man. You know? They got torture chambers, everything, man. You know? There was a news article on CNN, and it showed you that they have you, strip you down on the bed, alright? Put a diaper on you. This is how sick these people are. Put an adult diaper on you, blindfold you, and you're just lying there 24/7. You shit and piss yourself. They ask you, interrogate you, and torture you. So that's why Hamas is saying, listen, you know what? We'll give you some of the hostages. We'll give you the hostages, but you have to give us some of our people that are in prison. Okay? And that's what happened back then. She was in prison, and Yasser Arafat negotiated for her to come out of prison, man. Alright? She was the first. So our people, because when you are in a land, see, there you go. When you are in a land, alright, and especially in the land of your enemies, alright, and you're oppressed already, and then a bigger oppressor comes, you know, you're in a double rock and a hard place. And that's why you're gonna see here, alright, that our people living in these places, whether it be in the Gaza Strip or in Israel, they are doubly oppressed, man. Alright, they are doubly oppressed. And you're gonna hear it straight from their mouths as well. They are doubly oppressed. Okay? Now, she said that many of them came from Chad as well, right? Alright? Chad is a former French colony. And we know that Israelites, you have to understand that when we fled 70 AD, our homeland in 70 AD, to escape the Romans, okay, many of our people might have stayed in North Africa, and Chad is just below North Africa, alright? So there's many people in Chad and all these other places that we don't talk about that could be Israelites. He could be a Hamite, he could be an Israelite, I don't know, okay? The guy that we're going to see in this video here, he's one of the community leaders.
Who inhabited North and Northeast Africa. The sons are Cush, which is present-day Ethiopia, Mizraim, present-day Egypt, Put, present-day Libya,
that's Hamites.
And Canaan, which is present-day Palestine, Israel.
Those are sons of
Ham. The African presence is still visible in Israel today. There are thousands of Africans.
And we're Israelites. We're not Hamites, all right? In this video, they're saying they went through the sons of Ham, you know, Put, Cush, Mizraim, Canaan. We're not those people, but they're trying to say that the Afro Palestinians, which are our people, are what's it called, related, you know, to the Hamites in the Bible. We're not. We're Israelites, you know.
African Palestinians who live in Israel with deep roots to the land, whose ancestors date back for centuries. I met with Ali Jaddah, tour guide, and the informal mayor of the African Palestinians in Old Jerusalem. I asked him about his life and relations between the Afro-Arabs and the Jews.
Well, life for him, I think it's the hell. I'm one of those people who had experience there. To be Palestinian, that's a big problem. But to be a black Palestinian, I'm quite convinced it will be the hell. Because as a black Palestinian, I am double oppressed by the Israelis.
In what way?
In what way? I will explain it. First of all, they oppress me as a Palestinian. Secondly, they oppress me because of my color. Whenever I go around in the Israeli side, they call me Kushi. Kushi means nigger.
See?
Kushi means nigger.
So, in Israel, the
Wow.
land of God, people who are the brothers of the Arabs, two brothers, you are called nigger as I am called nigger in America?
Let's say on the surface, this is what they say, that this is the land of God and we are cousins and there should be total equality. But once you come to the practice, when you come on ground, you will find that there is a lot of discrimination and there is a real divorce between what they say and what they exercise.
There you go. What they say and what they exercise. So, those when he's talking about being called the N word is mainly by those Israelis. All right, the Amalekites. They're the ones that call. They're the ones that use that word Cushi, and the reason why they use the word Cushi, all right, which in their language is it just means nigger, is because the Ethiopians, all right, Ethiopian Jews, all right, I think it was in the 80s, they did this mass migration program, all right, to allow Ethiopians to come over to Israel. And they wanted to pretend that they're one of the lost tribes. And they allowed them to come there, but when they've got there, they treat them like crap. They even gave them sterilization drugs. Okay? Sterilization drugs, man. Against their knowledge. So they won't reappropriate. Or if you have an Ethiopian woman and she wants to be a nurse in Israel, all right, she's not gonna get that far. I'm telling you, they're gonna make her life a living hell. It's that bad, man. You are not gonna see an Ethiopian nurse in the state of Israel in hospital helping the average Israeli in and out of their bed. You know, they will not accept it, man. They'll say, "Don't touch me, cushy." You know. So Deuteronomy 28:37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword, Cushi, which means what? Nigger, in their language. All right, among all nations where the Lord shall lead thee. So the Lord said that these curses will be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So basically, when you read through the curses in Deuteronomy, these are an indicator of who God's chosen people are. Okay, so he could be one of them. You're seeing his and his people's experience. Let's continue. Okay, and there's one more here. All right, and then we're gonna kind of close. I don't want to make it too long. I think there's one more article I want to show you guys, because I want to show you the what's it called, the Afro Palestinians, right? The Afro Palestinians. People will say, oh well, there's this there's this what's it called, kind of camaraderie when it comes to what's it called, kind of a not camaraderie. There's this link between the Afros, all right, the Afro what's it called, the African Americans, the tribe of Judah in America, and the Palestinians, because there's this what's it called, years ago, when they had the Michael Brown incident in Ferguson, the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, it was mainly the ones in Gaza, all right, they were actually messaging, all right, our people in America, all right, and telling them, listen, You know, if you want to stay away from the tear gas, do this, use milk. You know what I mean? They were giving them tips. All right.
Safed is the biggest Bedouin
You know?
city in Israel.
Your name? What is the name? Wasim. The son of
See,
the
Bedouins, man. They were using you know, they were kind of saying, look, you know, there's this kind of kinship, blah blah blah.
Kill you.
And there was a little bit, and there is a little bit, but let's be honest, right? Let's be honest about it, all right? Anywhere, I mean, not all blacks are the same, not all Israelites are the same, not all Oriental people are the same, you know, not all Arabs are the same. The Arabs in the Gulf, in different countries, are totally different, you know, to the ones in North Africa, etc. But I think in the Gaza Strip, these people are heavily oppressed. All right, heavily oppressed. So they're not as, you know, yeah, they look down on blacks, but they're not as bad to blacks as other Arabs are in the Gulf states and in Israel, in, you know, outside of the Gaza Strip. That's the kind of, you know, from the videos and the research I've done, it's not as bad, you know, they're not as bad because they're oppressed as well.